कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा? आज बात करेंगे रिलेशनशिप्स एंड ज़ीगार्निक इफेक्ट के बारे में. The Zeigarnik effect is named after the psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik. The Zeigarnik effect का ये कहना है that our attention is always drawn towards unfinished business. Zeigarnik effect states that people remember the tasks which are uncompleted or interrupted. इसका मतलब यह है कि हमारा ध्यान अक्सर वहां जाता है जो कार्य जो काम हम पूरा नहीं करते. एंड दैट्स सो ट्रू. इफ यू आर द वन हु वॉचेस डेली सोप्स एंड सास बहुवाली सीरियल्स, विल यू अग्री विथ मी कि सीरियल के एंड पर कुछ ऐसा दिखा देते हैं दैट यू आर सो एक्साइटेड टू वॉच द सीरीज ऑन द नेक्स्ट डे. If you are the one who watches those series on Amazon Prime or Netflix, there are 10 episodes. But every episode towards the end, it is something so exciting and enticing that you desperately want to see the episode number 2 and number 3, number 4, number 5, and on and on and on. And you do not stop thinking about that series on Amazon Prime or Netflix or on television until you have completed that task. That's so true. Even Bahubali 2 was released in 2017 after Bahubali 1 was released in 2015. But for 2 years, in Bahubali 1, when we saw that Katappa Mama killed Bahubali, for 2 years, हर गली में, हर मोहल्ले में एक ही चर्चा थी, कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा? Why? The Zeigarnik effect. हमारा ध्यान अक्सर वहां लगा रहता है जो कार्य पूरा नहीं होता. My dear friends, and that is so true with human relationships as well. Take a situation wherein you had a fight with your husband, with your wife, with your kids, with the colleagues, with your boss, और उस झगड़े के अंत में बातचीत को पूरा किए बगैर यू लेफ्ट दैट प्लेस. सुबह सुबह आपकी बीवी से, आपके हस्बैंड से आपका झगड़ा हो गया और गुस्से में बैग लेकर यू वेंट ऑफ टू योर ऑफिस. But throughout the day, you kept on thinking about that small little unpleasant conversation, that small little fight that you had with your wife, with your husband. और एक दिन, 2 दिन, 3 दिन, 4 दिन, 5 दिन बीत गए, but you're still thinking about the same fight which you had with your near and dear ones. My dear friends, why is it so? Because our mind is always focusing on unfinished business. But what happens is, because this effect is always at play in such kind of fights and the conversations which were left in between, it leads to sadness, it leads to anxiety, it leads to mistrust, it leads to depression at times. And that is the exact reason why it is so important to communicate in a relationship. If you had that small tiff, a small fight, a small unpleasant conversation with your wife, with your son, with your daughter, with your colleague, with your boss, please take the responsibility and communicate with the other person. It's so important to communicate and close the circle. My dear friends, communication is the oxygen of any relationship. Your relationships will die without this oxygen called as communication. So please communicate. Open up your heart. Have a one-to-one conversation with your loved ones. Understand why it happened, how it happened. Understand what can be done to resolve it. My dear friends, if you do not, the way for 2 years you kept on thinking कि कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा. Even in your relationships, my dear friend, you are the Bahubali of your life. Isn't it true? Absolutely. You are a superhero of your life. My dear friend, please ask that Katappa of your life. And that Katappa can be your mama, that Katappa can be your wife, that Katappa can be your boss, can be your colleague, can be your son. Please open up and communicate with that Katappa and figure out कि Katappa ने इस बाहुबली को क्यों मारा. It is your responsibility. Own it and communicate. It's an oxygen to your relationships. Communicate. It matters. Good luck.